Again, I'm Tracy Lauritzen. I own a business called Krakerjak Marketing. Blessed to be, or honored to be able to speak with you guys and help with this series. So thanks for inviting me to do that. So we'll just jump right into it. And just a little history on myself. I've been in marketing for about 20 years, typically around the Southeast Minnesota area. I've worked for organizations like a data analytics firm, a starfish company, different advertising agencies. I've worked for the media, specialty retailer, and I've held positions as marketing and business development, director, strategist, general manager, sales manager, account executive, those kinds of things. And I've done speaking engagements for obviously CETA, now the Smith series, but also Energy Issues Summit up in the metro area, a couple different speaking engagements for them up there, the Optimist Club, March of Dimes, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a little bit about me. People ask about what is Krakerjak. So just real quickly, it's a strategic marketing, sales, and analytics firm. And really it's about taking an integrated approach into strategizing with the marketing, working with the sales, and then delivering or reviewing the analytics and doing measurable results. And people ask me all the time, what does Krakerjak mean? And really this is the definition of it, but to me, it's that personal relationship with my customers, my business partners, I call them, and our relationship is remarkable, wonderful, and superior. That's a little bit. So that's a little bit about me. Moving on. So today we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, persona development. And we're going to specifically talk about how to use this as a marketing tool to connect to your actual customers. So what is a persona? Essentially, it's a mold of your ideal customer. So everyone has a pen and paper, right? Okay. So I want you to write down, seriously write down the first or customer that comes to your head, your favorite customer. Jim, Betty, whoever they are, just write their name down so you remember who they are. And we're going to focus on them for a little bit. And our goal throughout this is to really humanize the marketing journey that we're going to send this customer, this persona through. So it's really focused on the human aspect of it. So whoever your favorite customer is that you just wrote down, you probably know some basic information. So let's add to this. So let's add their age, their gender, their geographical region. Are they in Rochester, Pine Island, Southeast Minnesota, wherever they are? And then also their either income or maybe their profession, just to give us a real good idea and think through who they are as a human. Come on in. How are you? Good. Are you joining us?
I hope so.
Awesome. Perfect. Okay, so we got your basic information written down. And we want to take this a little step further and really start to understand them as a human. So not just in the big, I talk about or think about traditional media where back in the day, we used to be like, hey, yes, I would like to know how many people watch the 10 o'clock news that are between the ages of 25 and 54. Do you know how many people there are with that? A lot. So how are we going to hyper target people of that big a genre? So we really need to narrow down our perfect and our ideal customer. So we're going to take this a little bit further and we're going to talk about some additional aspects. So that same customer, your same favorite customer that you're writing down right now, what are their hobbies and interests? Do they play golf? Do they watch their son's basketball tournaments all over the country? Do they garden? Whatever that is, there's some kind of hobby or interest that you know that they are actively involved in. Think about their ideals, their values. What's really important to them in life? Is it family? Is it donating their time? What are those kinds of things? So hi. No, you're fine. And lastly, their lifestyle. So just a little bit about where they spend their time and energy. Zoe, I can catch you up in 30 seconds. Grab a piece of paper and a pen and write down your absolute favorite customer, the one that comes to mind, and then jot down those 7 things about them super quick.
I've started this with you.
I know I know you can. I'm confident in this. All right. Sorry I didn't catch your name. Otherwise I would have caught you up too. Everyone good there? Favorite customer, little bit about them. All right, so we're going to jump into an actual persona. So I'm going to read to you this couple, whoever they are. So right now you probably already have in your head some visions of who they are, what's important to them, what they're going through right now. This picture should say a lot to you. But here's who they are. He is a 28-year-old business banker, and she is a 27-year-old elementary school teacher. They live in a $210,000 home that they purchased about 2 years ago in St. Cloud, Minnesota. He is originally from Colorado, where his parents and older sister, who is married with 3 children, still live. Her parents are in northern Minnesota with a beautiful home on the lake. They're both very active. He plays basketball at the Y, and she is an early morning runner. Together, they play in a co-ed volleyball league with a few of their very close friends. With their careers in place, a modest home, life feels great. A few months ago, they decided it was time to start a family. Both of their parents have been asking them the when question. She is now pregnant. They made their decision to wait until she was 12 weeks along to make the public announcement. Today is that day. Meet the parents to be, Kevin and Sarah. Does everyone feel a little bit more emotionally connected to these two? Let's just shout out for a moment. And if you're online, you can certainly chat this in. But just what do you think that they may be interested in? What product or service at this stage of knowing a little bit about them, what do you think that they may need? Come on.
A new saver car.
Great car. Come on, think of some. Stroller. Awesome. Zoe.
Yeah, probably another house, or not, a bigger house.
I was waiting for someone to say that. I put $210,000 house.
Yeah.
I wrote this like 5 years ago. Did not update with inflation. Gentlemen, sorry, didn't get your name. Richard. What are they in the need for? Crib.
I was going to say crib, but changing table.
Perfect. All right, sounds good. Great ideas. Everyone has absolutely fabulous ideas. But do we really know? We really haven't identified any pain point. They have not told us anything that they're interested in or any need that they have. They could have everything that we've all just said in this room, and we have no idea. So we'd be serving them information that may not be personal to them. It's just washboard at that point. So we really need to understand them a little bit deeper. So this is where the persona starts from taking, just a general, this is who my customer is, to a persona, to now a persona to market to. There's another layer that's involved. We really need to figure out what they need. So what are their needs, wants, what are their behaviors? The most important, what are their pain points? We need to be able to solve some kind of problem for them, right? And if we haven't identified that, then they have no need for us. So really, what is important to this couple? That's what we need to find out. And that's what that next layer is all about. And why does this matter? So I'll throw a few in here. Statistically speaking, 72% of consumers, they expect a personalized marketing message. And with the world that we live in today, it's not just throw the darts up. It's really about talking to me where I am when I need you. So that's what we have to find out. So 72%, that's why it matters. Otherwise, you're just wasting dollars. So let's find out a little bit more about this couple. Fair enough? Good. All right. Here we go. So Kevin and Sarah have arrived at their 20-week ultrasound appointment, eager to see their little miracle. Will it be a boy? Will it be a girl? The thoughts are racing through both of their heads. The news the entire family has been waiting to hear. The ultrasound technician is very kind and moves swiftly, however, stopping a few times during the process. Kevin and Sarah look at each other with question. Should they be concerned? Kevin asks, is everything okay? With a calm reply, I'm just ensuring I get all the images needed for your physician. We can schedule this before you leave if you know your schedule. Thoughts race, but neither of them say a word. The next day, a call comes in from the hospital. Would you like to schedule a few additional, or we would like to schedule a few additional exams prior to your physician appointment. Scared to ask, but thinking, is there something wrong? At their scheduled appointment, the physician says, we noticed in your ultrasound that the additional tests have confirmed that your baby has a heart condition called hypoplastic left heart syndrome, or HLHS. Kevin and Sarah are in shock. They're scared, confused, and they've nearly stopped listening. Do we now feel a little bit different about this couple? Do you think that they're really interested in a car, a house, a stroller, et cetera, et cetera? But probably not. Probably not. This is a true persona, by the way, that I wrote up for a division at the Mayo Clinic called Empathia. And this is a true disease. It's a very, very rare heart condition for little kiddos. They do find it exactly how the story goes in the womb, and the survival rate is minimal. There's not very many hospitals across the country that do a surgery. And so most hospitals don't even know that there is hope for kiddos like this. So anyway, true story. Not true story, but true scenario, true persona. So now speak to them. I mean, how are we going to talk to this couple, right? We need to first find them. We don't know. I mean, they could be anywhere from Alaska to Florida, from, Seattle to New York. We have no idea where these people are, but we need to talk to them. We need to tell them that there is opportunities for them. And then how do we talk to them once we do find them? I mean, these are all crazy questions. Do you really think that the researchers or the physicians are going to be able to relate to them? They know how to solve or give them an option to solve this problem, but they may not be able to relate to them, right? They haven't necessarily gone through this or thought through this from an emotional connection. So this is decision time for Sarah and Kevin. And so what we do need to find out, or what we need to do, is connect with them emotionally and intellectually. Those are the keys here. They need hope. They need to know that there's hope out there. Why does this matter? Empathy and hope, that's what they're looking for. And it matters because of this. Statistically speaking, again, that people actually favor peer endorsements versus celebrity endorsements. So they want to know and hear from people that have gone through what they've gone through. We call these influencers. So influencers can really help in any type of marketing situation. And I'm just giving you this persona because if you've been to persona, classes before, I can't guarantee, because we'll never guarantee anything, but I'm pretty sure you haven't heard of a persona of this magnitude or in this type of a category. So I just wanted you to think much, much differently than a typical, vehicle purchase or, the typical personas that we hear when we go to a speaking engagements. I wanted you to really emotionally think about this differently, because that's what today is all about. Fair enough? I didn't freak anyone out today. There really is hope for these people, I promise you. All right. Everyone actually get your favorite person still written down? Okay, so their aspects. Why don't you think about now, before we go into them, what are the top 2 or 3 products or services that you can sell to that persona, your favorite persona that you just wrote down? Pick 2 or 3 products or services, whatever your job is, that you can sell or have sold to this favorite customer of yours, okay? Right? Okay. So we're to the I want phase. So these little kiddos are going after pizza, but what do they really want? That's what we're going to figure out. Okay. So we're going to do a little game style. So I'm going to talk about a product or a service, and I want you guys to think about that emotional connection and tell me what that buyer, that patient, really is looking for. What do they need? What's that emotional tie to their persona? So mortgage. Who wants a mortgage? No one wants a mortgage. I'll answer that for you. No one wants a mortgage. What do they really want? Come on. They want a home, right? They want somewhere to call their home, their home. That's where their emotional connection is. And there's other answers. I'm just giving you one. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Come on. Think now. Flowers. Who wants a vase of flowers? What do you want? What do you want? What?
Somebody's thinking of.
Yeah, absolutely. You want someone to know they're thinking of you, surprise you, that there's an emotional connection to this purchase. It's a very exciting, right? It's not about the flower, right? Or the vase. How about tennis shoes?
A runner.
What about a runner?
Something they need to run.
That's not emotional. How about determination? Yeah. Go the distance, prove it to yourself that you can do this. Maybe you want to get healthier. Maybe, maybe you had a heart situation and now, you're on a new path of life and you're running for whatever reason, but there's an emotional connection there. You're determined. She's determined. How about glasses?
You want to be able to see.
Yeah, you want to be able to see, right? Maybe see for the first time. Clarity, that's pretty exciting, huh? Could also do it for fashion. You want to be the cool kid on the block. There's nothing wrong with that. That's an emotional connection, right? How about a leaky basement? Anyone know anyone that's, fixes cracked foundations? How exciting is that? What's the emotional connection? What do you want? What does this person really want? Come on. Peace of mind. Yeah, peace of mind that every time it rains, they're not like, oh, I don't want to go downstairs and see what mess there is, right? Yeah, they want to be able to live in their space, without thinking about that cracked basement, without flooding every single time it rains, or in Minnesota when the snow thaws, right? So all how you're going to connect with them emotionally. So we want to speak to them in their words when they're ready for us, right? That's the whole point of this. So when you see our personas, how I've got them written, and I have samples and things for you too, you'll always see me end with now speak to them. And I want you to really think about that. That's the whole point of this marketing exercise, is we actually want to speak to that persona. We don't want to hand them a mortgage because they're not very excited about a mortgage, but we want to help them get into the home of their dreams, right? We want to help that runner be able to be determined as long as her feet and body and muscles will let her go, right? It's not about the shoes. So what our goal is to resonate with that buyer, that shopper, that patient, really get into that persona, and then evoke emotion. If you evoke their emotion, you will gain a connection. And that is so, so powerful. Remember the HLHS patient? All they wanted was hope. That's all they needed. Is that easy? Questions so far? Everyone good? Yeah? Okay, so now do you have your products and services written down? Next to them, what's your emotional connection to that product that you wrote down? You can shut them out. We'll help you. You can, phone a friend. We're all in this together. Zoe, what's one of yours?
Well, you kind of said it. So
Okay, I know you're kind of hard because it's real estate, but yeah.
They're the space to call their own place. And a lot of my clients, my ideal clients, are usually in a smaller house. They want a bigger place, so that's why I said more space. But
yeah.
Sorry, you said it.
Pick one. One of your products.
Search.
Yep.
This company builds sheds, Western Minnesota. You can be able to find them.
Yeah.
It's a religious community. And so coming back to the emotional is to make the community stronger. If they sell more sheds, they become a stronger community.
There you go. Great. Awesome. Strength. Good one. Do you have one?
My ideal customer is a tourist.
Tourist. Great. What's emotional connection to tourism?
Selling them on the activities and the things to do.
Fun, entertainment, right? Yeah, something you don't normally do, right? Yeah. All right. So graphics also tell a very, very emotional story, as you saw right away, right? That cute couple that was there, and they're like, ah, you know, I'm pregnant. She's showing him. He's like all excited, right? So you already had a story in your head with no words what this couple was going to go through, right? So pictures make a huge difference. So I want you to think through on this part of the exercise, those products and services that you wrote down, that emotional connection. What visual picture could you put with that emotional connection? Okay, so think that through here. So this is an actual campaign that I ran, a digital campaign that I ran, and I'm going to just ask you to guess what the product was in this picture. What do you think the product or service could have been in this picture? Blurt out anything.
Travel?
Okay, that's a good one. No, but it's a good one. I can see that. I can see where you got that. Yeah, for sure. Come on.
It'd be funny if it's like a shaving cream.
Exactly right. It's exactly right. It was. It's exactly right. Yes, it was for a salon, and they wanted to do a promotion for men, specifically. As a summer campaign, yes. So it was hair removal for men. And so we ran this campaign. I actually worked with an amazing digital placement gentleman. Never ever did he stray me wrong. He did an absolutely fabulous job. But him and I went back and forth. What picture? By the way, these are not the exact pictures. I didn't put the right pictures up there to, keep the innocent, but in case you saw them. But this was the concept of them, anyway. So we did this A/B test. He's like, if you put this picture up, people will be like, oh my gosh, I totally can relate. That's what my back looks like. I don't want that, da, da, da. And it'll be funny and da, 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 da. And I'm like, yes, it may be funny, but there's no emotional connection. They actually don't want to look like this. So I think that you should put a really good looking guy on this picture, and we'll do it. So we did A/B testing, exact same messaging, exact same search criteria. Within hours, we pulled this ad because it was getting views, but it was not getting clicks. It was not getting the click-through ratio. This was 10 to 1. I mean, it was night and day difference. And the reason is because there is an emotional tie there. The person that actually does want to look like that wants to see that. And in this scenario, there's actually two personas: him, because that's what he wanted to look like when he went to the beach, and her, she wanted him to look like that when they went to the beach. So both of them were personas in here. And so I just wanted you to think that through a little bit. That picture really does matter. And it tells that story, and it can emotionally tie you to that product or service without saying any words, Good job, Zoe.
I mean, obviously you did it, but scientifically, but I don't know why I said cheating.
Right on. Yes. So if you don't relate to them, they won't convert, is the whole point of this, right? All right. So talking about some facts again, right? So you want to target your audience with greater precision. And you talked about search just a moment ago. These are reasons why that we get this tight with our personas and talk about them through a marketing channel. So with digital specifically, you can do this with TV actually as well. It's just, you think about it a little bit different, but you want to narrow your target audience. We don't want to be blasting to everyone. We want I mean, unless you have, I guess, a budget that I don't know anything about. But typically your budgets are narrow and we need to be very precise with them. And trust me, when you look at your return on your investment, you want to make sure that you're not just shotgunning approach, you're really narrowing in on that target market. You can serve different personas, different ads simultaneously. That's great about digital, TV. I mean, we can do that. It does not have to be one message, one campaign anytime. So if you have different products, services, different personas, like in the last one, him and her, you can message to them differently. And you have the ability to serve up content that is relatable to each of your target personas. Again, does not have to be one blanket statement. It's not your tagline. This is content specific for a persona, right? So I'll give you an exact example. So this on the left here are 3 personas for one company. They sell cars online. That's their product, selling vehicles online. So there's 3 personas. This is Austin, and he is a sportsman junkie. He's an outdoors guy, nonstop. He loves ATVs and boats. And if he finds something that he thinks is a good deal, he's buying it. So he is nonstop on different searches, trying to find the best deal. And anyway, so that's Austin. One, same company, right? Selling to different people. This is Mary. Mary cares about buying local. So she wants to find that dealer, that car that she can buy from a dealership that's local, that has a service department, and that she can share vehicle links with because her children are in college. So she wants to be able to say, you know, hey, Allison, when are you bringing your car home? I'm going to schedule your tune-up or whatever, or, oh my gosh, your car broke down. What do you think of these 3 different vehicles? So she cares about that convenience for her family. And lastly, Nick, they're starting a family. And so they're doing lots of pre-shopping online because they have time. And they like to come home and evaluate what these options are together. So they want to be able to save their favorites and then chat together and figure out what their best new minivan is. But one company, way different personas, way different needs, right? So that's how that all works together. How about in the sales world? Anyone do business to business? Yeah, right. So in sales, sometimes we don't think about the sales journey and who those decision makers are as personas, but they really are. Those are personas. And so I call this the day in the life of, right? Because sometimes, most of the time, you start with one person that had the trigger or the need, or you made the connection with, but they're not necessarily the final decision maker. They may have the pain, but they can't write the check, right? Or something like that in between. And so we need to figure out and identify who those decision makers are and how to talk to them differently, because they are different. So you might start with the DOS, the director of sales, right? To the IT person, to the CFO, to the CEO. And these are the layers, and there may be other layers in between, but they all have different needs and different reasons for doing their job. So Director Daniel, he's the director of the sales department, right? And his job focus is leading the sales for the organization. That's it. That's what he does. He leads the sales. And his peers, he cares about, they call him, or they know that he has been in their shoes. He's been promoted. He was in sales, right? And he knows that it's fast paced, and they know that he knows it's fast paced and it's competitive. So, but what does he fear? Daniel fears that implementing some new type of software will put more work on the sales staff, and his peers will lose trust in him. And they may also say that he's turned corporate. Have you ever had anyone say that before? Yeah, turn corporate on me. Anyway, and then the role, though, this person does play a role in that buyer's decision, right? So they need to have some type of tool that they can track the sales funnel or the forecasting or whatever you want to call it to the owners, to his upper management, or investors or whomever they are. So he has a stake in this game, but he has some fears that he has to overcome. And he wants to make sure that he's going to make that right decision. So his decision making is around these aspects. So we need to talk to him in that aspect, right? How about the chief information officer, Terry, technical Terry, we call her. Her job focus, right, is securing the enterprise-wide technology. She needs to make sure that things work and they're secure, right? And her peers call her the transformation leader. Everything that she touches and implements is like gold and makes their lives better because she's so in tune with what's needed. But her fear is always that she promotes or buys or concedes to a bad purchasing decision, and that will tarnish her reputation. She fears her reputation to be tarnished. And her buyer role is to evaluate this technology and what other options are out there. So she is purposely going to look at competitive options that are not brought to her so that she can prove that this thing to purchase is right or wrong for whatever reasons. So that's her role. We're going to talk to her way differently, right? Chief Financial Officer, Frank, he is focused he needs to make sure that the organization is financially sound. That's all he cares about. Peers call him the door of no spending. He says no to everything. And his fear is he has to prove return on investment. So if he's going to buy into this, how is he going to prove in a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years from now that this was a good financial decision? Not good for the sales department, not a fun thing, but it was good. And there was a return on this type of a purchase. And his buyer role is to support the value statement. So he needs to make sure that whatever's purchased has that actual value that he was sold, right? And then lastly, the CFO, Olivia, CEO, Olivia. Her job focus is overall responsibility for the organization. That's it. She is in charge and responsible for everything that goes on. Her peers say that she's a leader through and through. She listens, she's understanding, she's articulate, she believes in all of her executive team that's out there. But she fears a costly mistake. And that could just be time, that the salespeople are wasting too much time using this service, right? Or it could be financially that they purchased this tool that isn't performing or giving them the return that they were expecting, right? And her buyer role is to communicate this to the investors or her board. That is her buyer role. So she needs to buy into that. Does that sound fair? Do you guys ever go through a scenario kind of like that? But we still need to figure out, so that's what their jobs are. That's they're in the life of, but they still spend time and energy in different places, right? So when they're researching, where do they go? The CIO may go to like a Gartner or something and look at the different quadrants of this sales tool and see if it's, what metrics it has on it, or read reviews, or talk to peers within the industry. Have you ever used, Salesforce or whatever it is? So it's important to understand where they're going to do where they're spending their time researching, where they're educating themselves. Maybe not even on this subject, but in general for their role, right? Where they're going to continue this research, and then what value they have in that organization. So that's how we meet them. That's how we talk to them. Is that fair? Good. Questions? Doing good? Everyone's good? All right, getting close. We also need to evolve. So even if you've done a buyer's persona before or some type of persona before, I encourage you to get that piece of paper out and take a look at it. And I bet you there's some things that probably could be changed on it. We all evolve over time. Media evolves over time. What we can do evolves over time, right? The market changes over time. So we need to make sure that we adapt and we evolve to what those things are. So as a perfect example, this true scenario. So a new insurance agent comes and gets his life, health, property, casualty, all of his licenses are good, but he's starting his new firm, and it's easiest, right, to go to his friends and family and say, hey, let's switch your auto insurance to my agency because you're my friend, because you're my family. And now this is how he starts to build his portfolio, because this is a need product. An auto owner's insurance, homeowner's insurance, those are need products. They have to buy from someone. So why not it be your friend or your family member or whatever, right? And so this is how you start to get a book of business and grow your book of business. But you will never survive growing if this is where you stay in your wheelhouse. You need to evolve. So over time, when you get better at sales and you understand who your personas are, you then go into a life health situation where you want to sell life insurance. And this is more of a want product. You can turn it into a need product by the right communication, but truly there's no law that says you have to have a life insurance policy. So this sale is going to be much different than this sale was. Even if it is the exact same person, years later, you're going to talk to them in a totally different emotional connection than this was. Does that make sense? Yeah. So your products and what you do evolve as well. Also think about this seasonality wise. So remember our beach couple, right? If we're in December, we're probably not going to do a whole lot with the shaving situation, right? So, cute couple in the summer may have a different emotional tie, or they should, than them in the winter, right? On a seasonal type of product. So just think about that a little bit as well. So just to kind of wrap a little bow around this, precisely stating, placing your marketing where your personas are is super, super important. Be precise with how you target them, your emotional tie to them. And then just remember this too, like the amount of paid digital ads are how much you pay for digital ads is actually based on the number of people that you're exposing to. So if you're doing that big shotgun approach and they're not really your customers, you're truly wasting advertising dollars. So narrow in, find that persona, be truthful to yourself. Not every person that is between the age of 25 and 54 is your customer. They're just not. So really figure out who they are and hyper target them. You will spend way less dollars and you'll have a much greater return on your investment by doing that. Right? All right, so some pro tips, right? Just think about the old cliche, whip them, what's in it for me. I know it's old school, but it really is true. Think about that persona. What is in the stake in the game for them, not for your product or service. This is not a features benefit situation. This is emotionally tying them to that, right? Your products and services, they have to have some type of solution. What does that persona really want? Remember, they wanted hope, right? They wanted a home. They want peace of mind. They want to look good on the beach, right? They don't want strips of wax getting pulled off of their chest. That's not what they want. They want to look good on the beach, right? So when you create a need, to be able to create a need, you need to identify what that need is. You really need to understand who they are emotionally. Turn a want product into a need product and a need product into a want product, and you will be successful. I strongly encourage you to do this. Put a face and a name to your persona. Truly do that. You will make yourself emotionally tied to that persona by doing it. And then share, if you have a marketing team or someone that handles your marketing, give that persona with the picture on it to them. And then when they place your advertising or their marketing, I do this all the time. I'm like, does Mary care? Does Mary really care about what that statement is? Then don't do it. Don't run it. Pick something else. Move on. So if you get that persona in front of your marketing person and really ask that question over and over again, it actually is a really good way to differentiate your marketing dollars. Like when someone comes to you and you're like, hey, should I do blah, blah, blah? And you're like, you know what? Would Mary care about that? Is that where Mary is? And then it's easy to say no, or it's easy to say yes, because you have that emotional tie to where that person is, if you have that persona written out, right? And then again, hyper targeting to isolate those marketing dollars as much as you can. And, people ask, like, where do I start? How do I know where to build this persona at, right? So one, I always say, start with your favorite customer. There's a reason that they're your favorite customer. Is it because they spend a lot of money with you? Is it because they're the easiest? Because you know that they trust you and they call you first? I mean, what is it? There's some reason that they're your favorite customer. And I know every one of you had one that came to mind instantly. Why not have more of them? I mean, that's the whole point, right? If they're why not have everyone as your favorite customer instead of the one that you don't want? So let's not worry about targeting them. Let's get to that favorite customer and spend all of our energy on that. Look at your competitors' customers. Who are those customers that you want? And can you get to them? Can you talk to them in the right format, right? Maybe your competitor isn't talking about what the true need is for this persona. That's your opportunity to do that. And I'll give you a secondary pro tip on that. When your customer or your competitors start doing what you're doing, it's the best compliment you can get. So keep at it. Don't get discouraged. Keep doing it even better. And then searching hashtags. So, thinking about what hashtags people are using, the Marys are using out there. And then that's great about social media is that you can go and look at her profile. What are the things that is in her timeline that she's interested in? What has she clicked? What has she wrote down as her hobbies and interests? You can find out a lot about someone quite quickly, their living styles quite quickly in just a couple minutes on social media. So use that. Use that. Okay, so to end this here, I just wanted 2 more slides here just to tell you there is a business series, right? This is number 2 of 6. So these are subject to change yet, right? I think.
Nailed down it. We're just
okay.
To our finalized arts place in Waukesha.
Okay. Oh, okay, great. Good. Okay, so the 31st we'll be doing traditional media. And then the April 26th we'll be in Zumbrota doing social and digital media. And then the 25th of May, we will be in Blue Earth doing website development and maintenance. And then wrapping it up and the 29th in Wabasha, June 29th in Wabasha, we'll be doing data analytics for marketing. And I will be doing this whole series. So hopefully you will come and join me. I'm going to leave you with 2 quotes. Don't take any of what I said from me. We'll leave it to way smarter people. So Barack Obama has this book, The Promised Land. And the only reason I'm saying this is because I really appreciate this quote from a marketing person and what we kind of talk about. So whether I like it or not, people were moved by emotion, not facts. So it is not about your product. It is about your emotional tie to a need that someone wants that product, okay? So emotion drives everything. And then lastly, from Oliver Heckman of Google, there is a tendency for companies to chase or build the next big thing. But I'd argue that these shifts emphasize how important it is to stay focused on the person behind the search, not the individual devices that they're using. So my key takeaway here is stay focused on the person. People are who are buying. It's not the computer, it's not the phone, it's not the device. It is an actual person making this emotional decision. So stay focused on them.